Imagine tomorrow we discover that we are not alone, y'all. Something enters our solar system. It's intelligent. It can communicate with us. And the first thing they ask is, who speaks for Earth? Think about that. Who do we see? President of the United States? United Nations? The Pope? A scientist? A billionaire? Some religious leader? Who exactly represents 8 billion human beings, y'all? And the strange answer is nobody. There is no person on this planet that humanity has collectively agreed speaks for humanity. And the more I thought about that question, the more I realized something. This episode really ain't about no aliens. It's about us. Welcome back to the Jewish Skeptic. Carl Sagan asked this question decades ago. Who speaks for Earth? And I think that question might be more important today, actually, because technologically, humanity has become incredibly powerful. We can split atoms, we can alter DNA. We can send machines to other planets. We can look billions of light years into space. And we're currently building artificial intelligence. But while our technology keeps moving forward, I don't know if we're moving forward with it. Because underneath all of that technology, humans still seem obsessed with the same old tribal thinking. And if we don't grow beyond that, I genuinely wonder how long our species survives. Yeah, I said it. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Because look at how we identify ourselves, y'all. American, Chinese, Russian, Christian, Muslim, atheist, Jewish, conservative, liberal, white, black. And there's nothing wrong with having identities. That ain't my point. The problem comes when those identities become more important than recognizing the obvious thing underneath all of them. We're the same species, people. That's crazy when you really think about it. We're living on a rock, floating through space, and still fighting over imaginary lines drawn on that rock. We're arguing over whose ancient book has the correct explanation of reality. We're fighting wars over land, politics and resources, religion and power. Meanwhile, the universe doesn't care about any of those categories. From space, there are no borders. You can't see Christianity. You don't see Islam. You don't see Republican or Democrat, people. You see one little bitty planet and one species living on it. And here's the problem. We have civilization level technology with tribal level thinking. And that combination can be dangerous. And here's where religion becomes part of this conversation. Now listen carefully, because I'm not saying that I know there is no God. I don't. Maybe something exists beyond us. Maybe it doesn't. I don't know. But here's what I do know. We have no demonstrated supernatural authority coming down here and fixing humanity's problems for us. When disease spreads, humans have to develop medicine. When nuclear weapons are built, humans decide whether they're used. When wars begin, humans start them, and humans have to stop them. When we damage the environment, we're the ones who have to deal with the consequences. Whatever you believe spiritually, the responsibility still comes back to us people. And I think humanity needs to understand that, because we spent thousands of years looking toward the sky, waiting for gods, messiahs, prophets, and supernatural intervention. But I have a question, y'all. What if nobody is coming? What if this planet really is our responsibility? What if growing up as a species means finally understanding that we can't keep passing responsibility to something that we can't even demonstrate exists? You can believe in God. That's fine. But belief should never become an excuse for humanity refusing to take responsibility for humanity. Now imagine another intelligent civilization actually observing us. Forget what we think about ourselves. Look at humanity through their eyes, y'all. They see a species that discovered electricity, split the atom, decoded DNA, walked on the moon, built telescopes capable of seeing galaxies billions of light years away. I mean, that's incredible. And then they keep watching. And they see the same species killing each other over territory, skin color, politics, resources, and competing claims about invisible supernatural beings. Imagine how bizarre that might look from the outside, y'all. Maybe they wouldn't ask, how intelligent are humans? Maybe they'd ask, are humans intelligent enough to survive themselves? Because maybe, just maybe, intelligence isn't just about what a species can build. Maybe intelligence is also about whether that species is wise enough not to destroy itself with what it builds. Nuclear weapons don't care what religion you belong to. An asteroid doesn't care what country you were born in. And a pandemic doesn't care who you voted for. There are problems that don't recognize our tribes. And eventually humanity has to learn that same lesson. And as I always do, let me be clear. So let me make something very clear. I'm not saying we need one world government, and I'm not saying everyone needs to think alike. And I'm definitely not telling you aliens are showing up tomorrow. That's not the point. That ain't my point, y'all. The question is much simpler. Can we ever learn to see ourselves as humanity first? That's the question. Can we disagree without destroying each other? Can we have different religions, cultures, and political beliefs while still recognize that we're sharing the same home? Because disagreement isn't going to destroy humanity. Our inability to deal with disagreement might. All right, now let's go back to the beginning. Something arrives here. For the first time in human history, we're standing face to face with an intelligent species. And they ask us, who speaks for Earth? What's our answer? America? China? The Pope? The United Nations? Which religion? Which government? Which tribe? Maybe right now the answer is, really, it's nobody. But I hope one day that answer becomes different. Not because everyone became the same, but because humanity finally understood what we are. One species on one planet trying to survive in an unimaginable large universe. Before I'm an American, before someone is Christian, Muslim, Jewish, atheist, Republican, Democrat, whatever, there's something more basic underneath all of it. We're human. And this is the only home we currently know we have. So maybe Carl Sagan's question isn't really about who could speak if aliens arrive. Maybe it's a warning. Maybe the question is whether humanity will ever become mature enough to speak with one voice when it actually matters. Because if we're not careful, one day there will be no one left to speak at all. I'm CJ. This is the Jewish Skeptic. And remember, no fear, no dogma, just clarity. I'll catch y'all in the next one.
Do you know what I found? The more you know, the less you know.